Hi everybody, welcome to episode 13 of Needle Drop Nation. This episode, vinyl, voltage and the vibe. We love it. 3 V's. My name's Nick Wood. I'm of course joined by my good friend Jodi Barias. Jodi, I have to say that we're talking about 1976. Very, very popular year for us in the UK because it was one of the hottest years on record. But first off mention is that this Saturday coming is, I believe, your 250th anniversary of Independence Day.
That is correct. 250 years of the United States.
Yeah, which by my reckoning and my maths means that in 1976 you were celebrating the 200th anniversary of
Yes.
an Independence Day. And obviously, as a Brit, it wasn't our finest time, but I like to think it might have been like the pain of childbirth, nation birth. You have to go through some pain. So yeah, you won your independence quite rightly. And the nice thing is, when you think about it, we've had all this history to fight to get your independence, and yet we're the 2 closest nations probably there are on the planet. Maybe Germany and Austria, but no, certainly England and the US for sure, with our special relationship. Hey, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So in the UK, we make a lot of play, or the politics do, of we have a special relationship with the US. Does the US feel the same, or is this just like a one-way street we tell ourselves?
No, I feel that the US has a pretty strong relationship with the UK. I know that the UK does tend to play an important role, especially with recent events and with our administration, on the nature of decisions that were made dealing with the war. So, looking up to, the US in regards to how it upholds its relationships with the UK on several factors. When it comes to the entertainment industry, sort of great, work that's been coming out with a lot of shows, films, and of course throughout the years, as you and I have discussed, with music. Can't beat that, right?
No, it can't beat the musical bond between nations. We got, and 76 was a cracking year for music. But we'll just, first of all, kick off a little bit, if I can just kick off a little bit with what was happening in the UK. Or do you want to kick off with what was happening in the US? Then I'll tell you what happened in the UK.
Oh, absolutely. So, along with the fact that we were celebrating 200 years of the United States, it's the birthday of 200 years, we also had the founding with Steve Jobs of Apple.
Wow.
Last week we talked about the founding of Microsoft, and now, you and I both.
Yeah, iPhone frenzy.
iPhone, my first computer was an iMac. So yes, Apple turns 50 this year.
Yeah, you just don't expect it to be 50, do you?
Exactly. And then, of course, one of the things that have been like a sign of hope in the mid-70s is that Jimmy Carter was elected in 1976 as our U.S. president again. So we're seeing a turn for the positive. People were seeing a lot of grim and a lot of struggle under our prior presidents with the involvement.
Yeah,
high inflation, but then of course that Jimmy Carter does have his work cut out for him and his administration. And we'll talk about that in the future episodes as well. But
we can. I got it. I always liked him. I mean, I didn't know him personally, but I know he was a very great humanitarian.
Yes, absolutely.
But certainly, as a 10-year-old in '76, all I knew, because it was all on the news, was that Americans have got a peanut farmer as president. I was like, that was what was his hook? Like, peanut farm, interesting.
Peanut farmer,
but hey, we can't. We're not ones to complain or compare, because as seems to be the fashion in these days, We had a prime minister that resigned back in 1976. Yeah, it's not always prime ministers resigning in 2026 or 2022 or whenever it was they all resigned. No, we had Harold Wilson, who was very, very popular prime minister from the north. Nice northern man. The country at the time was going through a real battle between super socialism / communism. We were being influenced heavily by the Russians. No change there then in the last 50 years. And so he had enough, basically. Lost the support of his party, and they elected in a guy called Jim Callaghan, who was called Sunny Jim because he used to smile a lot. So we had him for another couple of years. But of course, we still had all these strikes going on. We had inflation running over 20%. I think at one stage it was 26%. And when you think back, Jodi, that was, I just cannot imagine inflation running that high. It was a real bad thing. And we were the sick man. We really were. The UK was the sick man of Europe. We weren't doing well at all because we were forever going on strike. One of the reasons for striking, of course, is we had the most enormously hot summer in 76. The heat wave lasted months. Well, it certainly feels like it was months. But all these things, they bottle up and they brew up. And unfortunately, then that culminated in some riots. We had riots in Brixton, in Notting Hill. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good. But of course, when you look at the music and check out the playlist, guys, because it's an amazing playlist, we got some real contrasts because we got some wonderful like ABBA and like what I call the happy-clappy type music, but also in '76 we saw these Sex Pistols hit the charts with Anarchy in the UK. There was a bubbling up, an undercurrent of potential anarchy. It was like the establishment, the communism, the anarchists. It was revolution was a brewing. Luckily, we avoided it, but it gave us some great music. So we've got it in the playlist. So some aggressive, touchy, in your face punk rock, which is always good to see. I quite liked it.
And here in the US, we had the Ramones. And, in the circle of punk rock, they were, perceived as happy-go-lucky, but also said, screw what's going on with inflation, screw what's going on and with Blitzkrieg Bop, that's on the playlist by the Ramones, like, hey ho, let's go, let's have some fun, And I'll tell you, punk rock was also an emerging scene here in the United States, especially in major cities here in New York and literally in downtown at the CBGBs. You're going to see more artists, the punk rock scene as well. Iggy Pop, Patti Smith. We'll be discussing that more as we come along in 1977.
But when we think about it, they kind of came, but they kind of burnt out quite quick as well. As you say, we'll come to that in later years. So we always, I'm not going to mention David Bowie. I'm actually going to mention Paul McCartney. McCartney and Wings. They were hitting their heights in '76. Silly Little Love Songs. I think.
Yes, it's a great song.
Life, I can't remember them. I can't think of what this album was called now. Big album.
I think it was their top album, and because they were really going through the struggle in the beginning in their history. And then around this time, 76, 77, they actually, Paul McCartney and Wings performed at Madison Square Garden. And lo and behold, former ex-co-Beatle Ringo Starr went to go visit him, which was really amazing. Nice. Yeah. But I must say, that's Silly Love Songs is actually one of my favorite songs from that album. And definitely something to celebrate as far as the music that was kind of make you feel happy and have a sign of hope that we had in a way with, a change. And I think we're going to see a change started from 75, but if you're going into 76, even in the world of songwriting, um, on vinyl and in the airwaves, we had the Eagles, Hotel California.
Oh, classic, absolute classic.
Yes. We had ELO, their album, with Evil Woman and Living Thing. And we also had Chicago. You're talking about songs and that were actually, in our lifetime as kids, literally, you would hear on the radio daily, and our parents would love to listen to that.
Exactly. I have to say, I mean, we are now entering the realm of, yes, we actually remember the songs the first time they came out. And, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, certainly Hotel California. I had no idea what the hell that was about, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved the tune. And then one of my other favourite tunes of this year, "Play That Funky Music, White Boy." It was absolutely. It is a brilliant bass line to it, and yeah,
Yes.
there's just something about it. You don't get more funky than that tune. To be honest, it is
No.
absolute classic, and I love it. I remember playing it a couple of years ago with my niece Grace when she was giving me her online bass playing lessons.
Mhm.
Yeah, we played that together, and that was it is just such a cool song. It
Oh
really
yeah,
is.
and it's something that even as a little kid, I used to like dancing to when I would turn it on the radio. And again, we're talking about music that really lifted up your spirits. And some of the things that I remember from 1976 was tunes from Stevie Wonder's album, "Songs from the Key of Life," which was an
Yeah,
incredible album. I think I've been blessed as a child being raised around that time. Great songs that came out of there was "As," and then "I Wish," you know, and you know, "Ribbon in the Sky." I mean, talking about one of the most beautiful songs ever written, and which won a lot of awards. And we're talking about Stevie Wonder coming from a period where beforehand, he had some concerns about his health. Um, and, you know, after a while, and then when it came, I mean, he had several albums prior to that won Grammy. We talked about that. And now this album comes about, and I think it's about being mindful and celebrating and, you know, sharing emotions and really rejoicing. And I think this is, and being very contemplative. I knew that all my classmates, majority of the parents had that album in their living room, in their collection. My babysitter had it too. So, and also like my dance teacher, after school dance teacher, when I took a class, literally had us perform to, Sir Duke. I mean, it's like Songs of the
oh,
Key of Life, 1976. That was, an album that reminded me of that year. And then also there was Rufus and Chaka Khan uh, with
yeah.
the best song. Love to listen to it on a
Sweet
lazy
thing.
Saturday. Sweet Thing, yes. And I've heard several renditions, but nothing beats the original with
You, you
Rufus
can't
and
beat
Chaka
that.
Khan. Yep.
No, that's brilliant. And we talked about the beginnings of ABBA last time. Dancing Queen, one of their
Yes.
massive hits, came out. Yeah, Dancing Queen, and of course we can't not mention him. But one of my favourite Bowie songs, "Golden Years," "Golden Years," when
Go.
he started to become even just when you thought he couldn't get any cooler than he was. He comes and brings out that his time in Berlin, I think.
Well, I'm going to
So,
tell you something. Even though he did that in Berlin, he performed live on national television in Soul Train, that track.
oh
Just wanted to
no
share that
way!
with you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Golden
bet
Years.
that's good. Oh, nice. Might have to go and look that up. It will be on YouTube. All these things are.
It is actually on YouTube, by the way.
Is it on YouTube? I'm gonna go track it down.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant songs. We've got the Bee Gees on the playlist as well. They're some of
Mm-hmm.
my favourites. And again in the 70s, it's the Bee Gees were disco. that was uh, that was it.
Yes.
And they were playing. It was like, man, get your white jacket, your white trousers, get your disco gear on. and get on down the disco. What else was happening in '76, Jodi? What can we talk about? What was at the movies? When you told me this earlier, I was stunned that it was 1976. Because I was only 10, and yet I feel I've seen this movie so many times, but obviously not at the cinema. And that was Sylvester Stallone and Rocky. I mean, hey, what a phenomenally good movie it was. But as you say, he directed it, he wrote it, he did the screenplay, everything, because he couldn't get people to make it for him. So he made it himself and starred in it, just because you can. And yeah, what a fantastic story of the underdog, gets given a chance, almost blows his chance. But then, as all, hey, if you've seen one Rocky film, you've seen them all.
That's true.
He comes back. He comes back strong. But, and this was, I think, the piece of genius about it. He doesn't win, and that as an ending is like, wow. It took him all the way, but he doesn't actually win. Of course, he's perfectly open for a sequel or a few sequels. But yeah, that was when I remember when I first saw it. It was like, damn, he didn't win. Because you're cheering him on, and he's running through Philadelphia. All the kids are chasing him, and what a good film. It was, brilliant. Love it. I love all these films, actually. But
no, it's great because it one thing I must say about Rocky is that, as a child watching that film for the first time, it really provides it's a storytelling of somebody starting and how he got to a place of really, building his confidence, his gusto to get onto the ring. And that final, that fight, it was like everybody was hoping that he would win. It was incredible. But it also gives a lesson to, I guess, for children or adults about like how life moves on, how life continues, even after a crushing defeat that we see at the end of the film. But I definitely, it's one of those films that are legendary, definitely legendary.
It is. I seem to recall. Didn't he have a detached retina or something? Is that
Exactly.
That got brushed over in all the other films. It's like, you can't do it. You're going to go blind. Nah, don't worry. It's a franchise. I'll just do it for God knows how many more years.
Or you thought he was going to die, for heaven's sakes. There were such brutal shots of him getting knocked out and everything. You thought he was going to die. Not only did you think he was going to, like he lost, of course, but with all the injuries and that, you thought he was going to die,
Yeah. But, hey, that's Hollywood for you.
And great screenplay, great cinematography.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm sure he must have won an Oscar or two, I think, on that one.
Yes.
Might check that out. But yeah, as you say, it teaches kids that, hey, even though you might put all that effort in, doesn't guarantee you success. But there you go. Well, working hard. If working hard was all you needed, then we'd all be millionaires. Let's be honest. So we know we've got tough stuff in life we have to deal with. But
exactly.
It's a bit deep for our podcast. But what it also does, it leads us on to there's also things going on in the world of TV where there were some very, very powerful role models for women in '76. And when we look through that list, Jodi, there's a lot of very powerful women in there.
I think in 1976 we've seen a surge of shows that were the main character was a woman. I mean, we're going to talk about, starting off with comedy, you've got Laverne and Shirley, you've got Rhoda, and you've got Phyllis, who were the friends of Mary Tyler Moore in the Mary Tyler Moore Show, right? Then you also got, talking about an incredible short-lived show, The Bionic Woman with Lindsay Wagner.
Yeah.
So
I think there was only 2 seasons, wasn't it?
They're still memorable, the episodes. And then Also, what's going on was you still Charlie's Angels, right? One day at a
Yeah,
time. Yes. So again, we're seeing a surge of um, you know women as the main central character in these shows, and
there we go. I mean, certainly in the UK, as I said to you earlier, yes, I remember Rhonda, absolutely, and living in her New York apartment. Because I used to watch that with my great aunt. Our great aunt came to live with us in 1976. And so she used to watch that, so I used to watch that with her. And then, of course, Charlie's Angels, we had that in the UK, absolutely massive. Yeah, who was your favourite angel? I mean, tough pick, I have to say. And everyone would always go for Farrah Fawcett. But actually, I like Jackie Smith. I thought she was.
Oh, she was gorgeous. Jacqueline Smith was the
Jacqueline
beautiful
Smith.
one, and Farrah Fawcett was the wholesome, vivacious one. And then she was only there for 2 seasons, but everybody remembers Farrah Fawcett over Cheryl Ladd up to this day. And Cheryl Ladd was in Charlie's Angels for quite a long time. But again, it goes back to the topic of female-centered characters in television shows. So I salute to the mid-70s for that.
Exactly. And of course, I know didn't have it in our little show notes today, but I'm sure 76 was the Cher show going on.
Yes.
There? Must have been. I guess it must have been. And again, back in the UK, I had no idea just how big as a star Cher was. When I was growing up, I'd heard of I Got You, Babe, and then I'd seen her in Moonstruck and as an actress, not realising just what an amazing singer she was, and how popular she was in the UK, in the US with her.
She was huge. Can I tell you, Cher is so big, especially for me as a child, because my first favorite show, remembering my earliest days of watching television, primetime television, as a baby, to be quite honest, was the Sonny and Cher show. And yes, and I was always fascinated by what Cher wore. The costumes, the gowns. And she had a little rebellious streak about her that I loved, that was really interesting. One thing for sure is that there was a paternal thing about her, because every time at the end of the Sonny and Cher show, they would bring her daughter then known as Chastity, now he's known as Chase. So, and that was something that was really uplifting, and especially you're talking about like a 2-year-old child like me in the early 70s watching this. And then, of course, you follow her story. She and Sonny divorce. And then, she has her show, the Cher show. And, she also gets involved and marries Greg Allman from the Allman Brothers. And, of course, one of my favorite episodes from the Cher show was when David Bowie was a guest on the show, and he actually sang Fame, and that was the very first time I actually saw Bowie.
Wow.
It was on television.
That's another one I'm going to have to go find on YouTube. Absolutely.
The song was Fame. The song was Fame. Yeah.
I saw regularly popped up on my feed, her and the Jackson 5, which was just great. What amazing music we have lived through.
Yes.
It really is. And so 76, what an incredible year. Now, 77, next episode, we're going to be talking about, there's going to be more punk rock. There's going to be a lot of stuff. There's going to be some mods, the Mod Father. In 77.
Yes.
And we'll tell you about how Paul McCartney's Wings and their Mull of Kintyre held back the tide of punk rock. I think I'm right in saying, I'll have to check for next week, but I think he kept God Save the Queen off number 1 in 1977.
That's a very interesting point. And also we're going to talk about the pinnacle point, the rise in the 70s of a band with one of the best albums ever made, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah. That's amazing. Love it. Jodi, I'll leave the last words for you. Time flies when we chat about music.
Oh, yes. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody who have been following us, listening to our shows, and and actually wanted to say, let's continue to build this dialogue in regards to what you want to hear on the episodes to come. Next episode will be featuring 1977, and also comment, subscribe, tell your friends. Um, Take a moment to listen to this episode and just, breathe, because it is a celebratory. Um, this podcast is meant to be a love letter to us Gen Xers,
Yeah.
in a celebration of music. So, yes, I just wanted to thank you all, and definitely look forward to seeing you all, on the next episode.
Yeah. So do get your requests in, guys. And as always, Jodi, you're the best.
You're the best.